Hello, I'm Sandra, and you are amazing. What a gift you're giving to your students by taking the time to continue to learn. Kudos to you. So, you're teaching 3-year-olds now, huh? I tell you what, we earn these magical EC through 12th grade certifications, but we never think we're actually going to be teaching this group or that group. But here we are. So I commend you on taking the time to figure out how to better serve your tiniest musicians. So PreK3, hooray! So here's what we're going to get into in today's video lesson. We're on the introduction right now, of course. I will tell you a little bit about myself, and then we'll take an imaginary trip through the first day of music class with your 3-year-olds. We'll talk about what it's like to be so little, what they need to feel successful and confident about routines, procedures, backup plans, learning centers even, and I'll go through some tips and tricks for greater success too. This is your video now. Pause and process as you need. Watch it on double speed. Turn on the captions. Stop and change the laundry if you need to. Do what will make you successful. Let's go. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I have taught from early childhood all the way through senior citizen since 2001. I've taught in child care centers, I've taught in private music studios, and I've done group lessons, and of course I've spent most of the time in public schools. And in public schools I have mostly taught music, but I did spend a year teaching Spanish 1 to 8th graders, and I've also taught some English composition. I do have my level 3 certification both in ORF and in Kodai. I am a music teacher in an all pre-K public school in San Antonio in the Northeast Independent School District. At our school, we only have 3 to 5-year-olds on campus, and there are more than 400 of them. Yep, that's right. It is a dual language campus, and that dual language program is a little bit more than half of the student population, so I teach half in English and half in Spanish, switching back and forth every day. We do also have 6 ESL classrooms, which are largely students from Central Asia, and that is another element that gets added into my English-speaking classes. And then we're also a special needs cluster. Most classrooms have a handful of special services students. Some of them are in co-teach classrooms, which means that about half of the class have IEPs and 2 teachers and sometimes 2 assistants. And we also have 2 classrooms that are self-contained or transitional to inclusion classrooms. Also in Northeast, I am a cluster coordinator, which means that I collaborate with the other elementary music teachers to champion rigorous music education. And I plan trainings, the professional developments that we do as a district. And I am a liaison for the Fine Arts Department. Now, here are some things that to me are very important, and I want to share them with you so that you know where I am coming from in my perspective and my philosophy. I believe that schools and all learning should be safe, fulfilling, playful, and triumphant. Yeah, triumphant. I also believe that every child, in fact, not just the children, everybody, does their very best with the skill set that they currently possess, and any unwanted behaviors indicate a missing skill or a situational deficit. Listen, those situational deficits, like a really bad headache or spilling our morning drink, that can really mess up a day, even for grown-ups. I believe that instructions should ideally be given in the students' first languages. And I don't just mean English or Spanish or Igbo I don't mean that. That's part of it. But I also mean that their first language is going to be touch, sight, and sound. And we have to communicate to them how they receive language. I also believe that music class has the ability to link learning from all areas of education, all areas of life. I believe that playfulness fosters vital emotional and social intelligence growth, as well as music fluency. And I believe that music literacy is an attainable, impactful, and transferable skill. And then the last one, I really hope that all of you completely agree with me on this one. Kids deserve a teacher who is happy to help them grow. The first day, I go to their classroom. I don't expect music class to last the full 50 minutes this very first day. I chatted with the teacher ahead of time to know which areas the children may play in. Most teachers are fine with tabletop centers like magnets, Play-Doh, cubes, or blocks. I sit down with them and I sing our hello song. It's time to sing hello there, hello there, hello there. Doing simple movements like tapping or clapping. And I sing it 3 or 4 times. And between each time, I ask a few of them their names, but it's not a big focus because they're wearing name tags, so I already know. The big focus is interactivity. Then I project this visual schedule on the screen. Ooh, look at this yellow box. It says number 1, and it has 1 dot on the number. Look, this person is sitting down just like Kayleen. Yeah. Oh, I see that you're putting your fingers like this, just like that picture. Wow. Can you do that? And we make our hands do that for a minute, and it's really tricky for them to figure it out, but they get it, they figure it out. And then I make my thumb and pinky, and my other thumb and pinky, and I can flip them around, and it's kind of like, whoa, the itsy bitsy spider. Now, they're not going to keep their hands like that doing it, and that's okay if they just do this. And many of the kids already know it, so they're so excited to share something that they know. The assistant also knows this one, so they feel safe to join in singing immediately. If the kids say, again, again, then we do it again. If not, then we move on to the orange box, number 2. Whoa, that person is moving their body. It looks like they're touching their head like this. And then we sing a song from our head to our feet, which is a song from Stephanie Level from Music for Kiddos on Instagram. The brightest little darlings have figured out that the red box is next, and they're decoding that book icon really easily. They know there's a story, but they don't really know what these circle things are. You'll have to wait to find out. I have a moving parts book. It's kind of a pop-up, but not really a pop-up book of the Itsy Bitsy Spider, and I show them that, and we sing the song. 2/3 of the kids are entranced, but I lost some of them during the movement game. That happens. It's okay. The assistant is making sure that they're safe while corralling them back as needed. While Reed's singing the book, I encourage them to continue to move their bodies just like the song indicates. Then I take out a drum, just one, and we discuss what shape and color it is and how it makes noise. No mallet required. Now, I didn't bring a drum with me, but I have a lid here for my tumbler, so I'm going to pretend. I flam my fingers on the drum and exclaim, my fingers sound like the spider walking on it. And then I tell the whole story with the drum as the spider. Up the water spout as the rain. Put my umbrella on. Down came the rain and whoosh, the spider out. And then all of a sudden it's the sun. And the sun comes up and dries up the rain. It does everything. That drum can do anything. Whew. At this point, I'm probably already fighting off a couple of kids who want to take my drum and try it, and the ones who've discovered that I brought a whole box of drums for them. Someone probably says, when is it our turn? And I give in and let them experiment with the drums. For 2 or 3 minutes, they are just investigating. They're holding it. They're looking at it, they're tapping it, they're putting it on the ground, they're hitting themselves with it, they're doing anything that they think will make a noise. And the only thing that I'm doing is reminding them about safety, like we drum with our hands and not our mouth, because someone will, and modeling a steady beat on my own drum. Then I start singing the song again with my drum as a prop, and many of them join in. We do it again. I ask them if I can take a video for their families. Oh my goodness, the families love to see those videos. And if they want to practice again to make it just right for families. Mostly, they all oblige. Here's the video. The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Umbrellas! Umbrella! Down came the rain. Show me your rain. Wash the spider out. Put the spider down. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain, and the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. My timing on this is entirely based on the one kid that I've already recognized has the most obvious need. Because when that kid discovers that drums can roll across the floor like a wheel, we're cooked. So, before then, we put the drums away, and it's time to go. I don't actually leave yet because we probably still have 20 minutes left. But we sing our goodbye song because that will become part of our routine. It's time to sing goodbye now, goodbye now, goodbye now. The assistant helps the kids get to a work area as I wipe the drums down. I'm playing gentle, mesmerizing music for those who feel like attending to it. I walk around the room getting more names and complimenting the kids on their amazing spidering skills, and I'm taking note of their creativity with the Play-Doh or blocks, reminding them that first we play, then we eat lunch, then it's rest time, and after that is home time. And they can handle waiting for those 3 or 4 little things until it's time for me to actually go. I sing the goodbye song again as I walk out. Perspective. These darlings are only 36 months old when you meet them. They only remember one of their birthdays. They're still figuring out how to pull their pants up. Sometimes they mix up the words giraffe and hippo, even though they know exactly which one is which. They really don't know what is going on. Everything feels brand new. The words you teach them, school expectations, how to be a friend, how to handle emotions and disappointment, different shapes, colors, numbers, yesterday versus tomorrow, before versus later, now versus hold on a minute, now versus hold on an hour, how their bodies work. How do I make my body skip instead of jump? The traditions that we have. What is Thanksgiving? What is Halloween? What is a day off? You are introducing the whole world to these children. We want to build their musical foundations with experiences that incorporate their developmental stage. Their human needs are more important than our music literacy goals. I'm going to say it again. Their human needs are more important than our music literacy goals. I know. We are so determined to get that musical learning into their bodies, but we can't forget they need the other stuff too. So we got to focus on their social, emotional, and executive functioning skills. Our social emotional skills include self-concept, self-regulation, relationships, and social awareness. Self-concept includes proprioception, as in, where is my body right now and what is happening? If I flip my body upside down to do a somersault, the world isn't moving, I am. And I'm going to end up in a different place than I started. Being aware of that is huge. Preferences, you don't know what you like until you've tried lots of different things. Perseverance. Oh, I messed up, but I'm going to try again because I really want this to work out. Or, I don't think it's safe for me to do that. I'm going to need some support. And they have to learn how to process that, and that's awareness of themselves, their self-concept. Self-regulation includes rules and routines. It's following them. It's understanding that they have a reason. And man, we do that in every grade level, don't we? And the connection between emotions and behavior, they don't really conceptualize yet that the reason I knocked over his tower is because I was upset about something that happened to me. Or that the reason I'm crying is because I didn't get enough sleep. The behaviors and the emotions are connected and they don't really get it yet. So we're teaching them that. Their focus and their attention span, obviously when they're little, it's a different game, right? Relationships, they don't know how to make friends yet. So they're learning how to communicate. They're learning about how to take responsibility and accountability. They're problem solving. Well, if I want the blue cup and you have the blue cup, can I just grab it? Or do I talk to you about it? Their care and concern for others, like noticing, oh, my friend is crying. Well, why are they crying? Did they get hurt or are they sad? Or, learning about how to deal with other people. That's a skill set. Social awareness. If I want something of yours and I take it, I am happy. But suddenly you are not happy because I took it away from you. And understanding that you're unhappy and my happy came from the same thing is perspective taking. It's understanding emotions. And then, of course, community values. In our classroom, we don't hit. In our classroom, we share love. So executive functioning, that is not a term that a lot of people are familiar with yet. And I just want to take a few minutes to focus on it because it is truly vital, especially with pre-K, but throughout all of our dealings with, other humans. The three major executive functioning skills that we talk about in early childhood are cognitive flexibility, working memory, and inhibitory or impulse control. So our cognitive flexibility is transitions from one activity to another, and that can be as simple as from sitting down to standing up, or from classroom time to cafeteria time and back and forth. Those kind of transitions are really tricky for a lot of people because their brains get stuck in one mode and they're not ready yet. And you can't always get ready just by a teacher saying, okay, it's time. The passage of time, the planning ahead of events, like if I know I'm going to music class and it's going to last this many minutes, do I need to go to the bathroom first? I don't know. You have to plan ahead. Now, as grown-ups, we can do that. But when we're little, that's not part of their skill set yet. New materials or new use of materials, if they've never seen a certain instrument before and they might not know what to do with it, or they might think they know what to do with it, but your expectation is different. Like, how do you hold rhythm sticks versus mallets? They're also learning about new people. Everybody is different, and that's okay. And new cultures, maybe you have someone who wears different clothes than what you're familiar with, or talks differently than what you're familiar with. And that's a skill that we actually have to teach children. Working memory is being able to follow multi-step instructions, which can be implicit or explicit. Like if we say, okay, let's make a circle, that is one sentence. It feels like one instruction, but it's actually multiple instructions. It's actually stop doing whatever you're doing, stand up, scoot your body this way or that way towards someone else, make space for the other people who are trying to get in, get centered, be ready, possibly hold hands. There's all these different steps to making a circle, and being able to manage that is a skill. It is taught. Remembering details, like if teacher said, first you're going to put your name on your paper and then color in the picture. Remembering that you have to do one first and then the other, those little details, that makes a difference. Gross motor skills and safety, truly the skill of knowing that when I'm jumping forward, I might land on someone, is a skill. They don't all have it. We have to teach that to them, and that's okay. Our inhibitory control, oof, that one is so huge throughout our lifetimes, but particularly in early childhood. So taking turns versus grabbing, we know what that's about. Focusing on a task instead of squirreling away at anything that catches your attention, man, that's hard for some of us, right? Even now, managing our temper. When I'm upset, can I stop and take a deep breath and handle it? Or do I just blow up? Being able to stay quiet and listen instead of saying everything that comes to our minds. Those impulse control things are huge. But speaking of that, that brings me to something that early childhood educators love to talk about, but I had never heard of while I was teaching elementary, and that is the third teacher. Children learn through observation. They notice everything, and they're curious about their environment. And a music room is super exciting. I would like to strongly encourage you to plan ahead with your pre-K teachers that you go to their classroom for the first month or so of school. The kids will be so overstimulated just for being at school with new people that the additional stress of transitioning to your classroom and seeing all the things there that they're not supposed to touch, that will seriously mess up their mojo. So go to their classrooms first, please. And then maybe after 2 or 3 weeks, take a little field trip to the music room. You can walk the kids down the hallway out to your room. But keep in mind that the things that you have in your classroom need to be things that you don't mind them messing with. So if you have a 5th grade class right after this, or the group that's doing the PTA show next week and all the props are out, you're going to just need to be really cognizant of that when they're coming in. And if that's the situation, maybe you can create a video tour. When you do that, don't hold your camera like this right in front of your face because you are a grown-up and you are tall. You're going to show them what you want them to see. So if you show them all these things that they're not allowed to touch, that's just going to break their little hearts. But what you can do is you come in, when you walk in the music room, you're going to see the carpet, right? That's what you want them to focus on first. So you're going to walk to the carpet and you're going to sit right here on one of these little, spots, however the situation is in your classroom. And you can do a wide sweep, go over to the carpet, like where they're going to sit. You actually sit down yourself so that you have their perspective. And then you can show them, wow, there's lots of things on the walls and there's this and there's that and there's the other thing. But I'm going to stay right here on the carpet because this is the safest place for me to be. Like, you have to talk them through that. Take a little field trip, do one game on the carpet, and then go back to their classroom. And then the next week, their teacher can take them on the field trip to the music classroom, and you meet them there, and then everything can be kind of normal. But on that note, please baby-proof your room. And I'm not just talking about putting covers on the plugs or things like that. There will be chaos if the environment invites it. Set up your third teacher thoughtfully. Plan for the safety of the children and the lifespan of your materials. The best case scenario would be that you stash or hide everything except what you will specifically need for that one class. The more likely scenario, of course, is that you can cover things up. Thrift some fitted sheets and tuck them over the shelves and freestanding instruments that you don't want the littles to interact with. The fitted sheets are helpful because they're easier to tuck and stay tucked. They don't just hang loosely. The power of out of sight, out of mind is no joke. Their curiosity, which is a fantastic asset and a sign of intelligence, mixed with that unfettered impulsivity, can get them into really tricky situations. I have been in classrooms and seen kids climb the bookshelves so that they can reach that one shiny toy at the top. I've had them drink from my tumbler. Ugh. They climb on top of instruments because they think they're just blocks. They break them apart to see what's inside. Hey, what's in this egg shaker or maraca? That's so fun to figure out. I'm not trying to frighten you. I really want you to be ready for it. Hide what you don't want them messing with, and then keep them so busy with fun and engaging activities so that they don't have time to get into mischief. Speaking of which, antifreeze. Antifreeze, not the liquid, of course. An antifreeze game is what I call those really short game songs that have lots of movement and pauses between repetitions. For example, let's say I have these simple icons displayed. Camila, what animal do you like? The bunny? Let's play with little bunnies, hopping, hopping, hopping. Noah, what animal do you want to choose? Caterpillar? Oh, you mean this centipede? Yes, let's play that we're a centipede, crawling, crawling, crawling. So what's great about this is that most of the kids at this age, they know and love animals. And they get to choose their favorites. Getting to choose is such a big deal. And the movements are negotiable. If you crawl like a centipede differently than I crawl like a centipede, that's no big deal. It's fine. It is just great fun and practice. The pros for a teacher is that the students are accidentally, playfully, and joyfully practicing patience. They are waiting their turn. Every time that you stop singing, they're suddenly stopping as well. And the ability to stop and wait for their turn is so important. They are, therefore, also listening to starting and stopping cues, and it gives you a chance for free observation to see who needs support, whether it is behavioral support, physical support, emotional support, musical support. You're learning all of that from these fun interactions. All right, in a second, I'm going to show you the music from a handful of my favorite animal antifreeze games, and you can pause the video if you want to grab a screenshot, or at the very end of the video, there's going to be a QR code with the notes. Let's talk about routines. 3-year-olds need repetition, and I mean true repetition, not adding a new skill each week, true repetition. And often they don't buy in to a game until the second or third or fourth repetition of the game or song. Now, you can repeat things multiple times in a row, like for example, if you played Ring Around the Rosie for 3 minutes, that's nearly 20 repetitions, depending on how long it takes them to get up after falling down. That's a lot of repetition, and they love it, and they keep asking for it again and again. But you can also do repetitions over time, as in, oh, we did this last time, remember? Or, oh, you'll have a turn next time, don't worry. Those sorts of repetitions are super important for the children. Also, creating units with an anchor song to build familiarity is really good for them. So you could have a unit that's based on, say, seasonal things like rain songs, or skill-based like circle games, or even thematic like everything about dinosaurs. The number of units is determined by what the topic is and for how many minutes and times per week you see your students. The units can overlap, and the songs can be added to a collection of known songs. You might break someone's heart if you said, all right, dinosaurs are over, no more dinosaur songs ever again. You can do it again during a different unit. My daily routine typically is that I'll sing a greeting song, then our first activity is like a finger play or possibly a story song or something that is stationary and seated. Then the second activity is a movement game, and then after that, another seated type activity, usually an instrument. Sometimes we'll do a little craft or some sort of development. And then we sing our closing song. Technically, my greeting song is a finger play, so sometimes things get a little shifted, and that's okay. And there are also rainy days and syrupy pancake breakfasts where the kids simply need something more or different than what's on the lesson plan. Procedures. It's the GPS for success. When you're using GPS in the car, whether you're driving somewhere familiar or unknown, you know what you're going to see and hear. The map stays centered where your car is. The voice will say different road names, but the instructions are consistent. In 1 mile, in half a mile, in 1,000 feet, police ahead, recalculating, and then you have reached your destination. And you know it so well that you hardly ever miss an instruction anymore. That's what our procedures do in the classroom. We do so much with our kiddos in so few classes that it's basically all unfamiliar territory for them. But then you sing, stand up, and they know what to do. And then, make a circle, side by side and hand in hand. And suddenly they're ready for a game, and boy, is it fun. Sit down. Who is sitting calmly? Evan, Aria. Who is looking this way? Kyle is, Akila is. Who will take a slow breath? Everyone. And even if they've never played a triangle before, you told them, I've got something special for you. Is it something you've seen or knew? Look and listen, pay attention, then I'll share with you. And so they know and feel confident in what comes next. And then, oh no, triangle. Teacher says I have to put you back in the box, but we're having so much fun. I'm going to miss you, triangle. But I know my teacher will keep you safe until I see you again. I'll hug you tightly and then put you in the box. Bye, baby triangle. Love you. In the box, then we go back to our spots. That all becomes procedure, and it won't mess with them if they play 2 games in a row instead of 1, or if they use the instruments for 2 minutes or 7 minutes. But what if the things that you repeat across time are, seriously, can you guys please just stop? Time's up already. Let's go, let's go. Sit down right now. Whoops. That's not how you wanted them to remember music class. Days like that happen. I've certainly had times when I wish for do-overs or that the kids hadn't seen me so flustered. But there are days when it all falls apart. This one won't quit crying. That one keeps pinching everybody. The other one is flipping the lights off and on. 6 of them need to go potty at the same time. And your assistant just went to the front office to escort the child who has a dentist appointment, and you have a migraine brewing. You need a fallback plan. Technology is our friend. It is okay to phone a friend when we need extra support. The best thing I've ever done for myself is to make recordings of myself singing songs that the kids know and can do the motions for or play the game for independently. It allows you to become your own assistant. You get to manage the kids while you are also singing and managing the song. And it's really simple. You just sit down at your computer or on your phone and you tap the record button and you sing the song. That works great for a difficult day. That works great when you are losing your voice. That works great anytime you have a sub and need some of that familiarity for the children. Really strongly recommend that to you. Create a slideshow with embedded action song videos. YouTube is our friend. Find the good ones and add it to the slideshow. What's great about a slideshow is that the embedded songs won't have an ad before them. I have created a set of slides with action songs and another one with calm down songs. And each week I'll show the kids one or two so that they can kind of learn them a little bit as sponge activities between this one or that one, or when we have a little bit of extra time, so that they begin to develop favorites to fall back on in a pinch. Another great fallback is to have tabletop musical centers that you can just pull out as needed. A big deal with centers in early childhood is that they are not rotations. At this stage of development, having that many forced transitions is hugely overwhelming. If you're needing to pull out those centers because everyone is already overwhelmed, you're just adding fuel to the fire. So please let them choose where to go and how long to stay there. It's okay if they don't do everything. They are much more likely to make good choices if they chose what to do in the first place. So let's talk about what to put in your centers. My favorite is what I like to call sound salads. You don't have to use an actual salad bowl. It can be a shoebox or a laundry bag or even a milk crate. So sound salads are like mixtures of instruments, and you can mix them by type or by shape or by color or by anything you want. Like you can do all the metal instruments in one and all the wooden instruments in another, or anything that clicks on this side and anything that shakes on that side. There are lots and lots of different ways to make a salad. Now, early childhood centers are supposed to run themselves, so you don't really have to teach the materials first, but that doesn't mean you can just turn them loose either. They do need to be reminded of the expectations for safety. I like to remind them that my rules for instruments are not my face, not my friends, not the floor or furniture. I call them the 4 Fs. Not my face, not my friends, not the floor or the furniture. The instruments can be played in any other way except that. And I have to tell them what those other ways are, of course. Everything is going to go in their mouth, even if they don't mean to. It just seems to happen. Remind them that their mouth is part of their face and that these are not eating salads. Instruments are for making music. Is it going to be cacophonous? Mm-hmm. Will the items get mixed up from salad to salad? Probably. Will things break? Maybe. But will the children be happy? Yes. Absolutely. The next one is puppets or plushies. Attempt to collect enough for everyone to have one in each hand. What I mean by that is that everybody has 2. I have a friend who sends out a donate to music class note each school year, and on it is gently used plushie toys under 6 inches. And now she has hundreds of tiny toys that she can use with her students. Now, my puppets are mostly animals, and the children think that means that their lion puppet needs to bite their friend's bunny puppet. So my constant refrain is, no biting, no fighting, no throwing the toys. I'll make my puppets make beautiful noise. So that means you're encouraging them to use their voices and model how to make their puppets whisper, speak, or sing. Now, movement is not a tabletop center, but it is nonetheless a valuable one, especially if they've been dealing with frustration. Gross motor movement releases tension. Designate the space in your classroom where they are allowed to move safely, like only on the carpet or stay on this side of the line for a center like this. You can do scarves, ribbons, capes, anything that is going to make them move their bodies. You can snap a group picture of some older students doing these various musical movements with those scarves, ribbons, or capes, and print it out and laminate it for your movement materials to instigate better exploration from your little ones. Another option is to create a poster or bulletin board of different poses, like stick figures are fine, to challenge their body awareness and control skills. I saw Michael Vasquez, a fantastic movement teacher, use these stick figures for a movement routine, and I adapted it to be used in a center by simply posting them in a place where the kids could safely imitate the ones that called to them. Now, listen, the children who were drawn to this center are the ones who need it. It might not be your most popular center, but that's okay. Trust the children to choose what they need to regulate their own body. Partners and passing used to be the biggest thorn in my side. The kids struggle with it so much, and I'm still learning. But here are the things that I've figured out over the years. To begin with, I choose to start the school year with instruments that I have a class set of. No partnering or passing required. But 3 or 4 classes in, I'll bring an instrument that I know I'm short by just a few, and I will dramatize the sadness of the kids who don't have one and show outrageous gratitude for those who come up with the brilliant idea of sharing their instrument with them. Within minutes, they're more focused on sharing than they are of making music, and that's okay for this moment. They are learning how to be a classroom community, and they're also showing me which kids are developmentally prepared to be good partners and which kids aren't there yet. From that very first experience with shared instruments, we practice the skill basically every class, trading between partners or simply looking to see who needs a turn and sharing with a random person. So, partner teaching script. I say this every time. Jonathan, this is your partner Max. You will take turns with Max. Max, you will take turns with Jonathan. Face your partner like this, and I either move their bodies physically to face each other, or I show them a graphic and point to what they need to do. And then if I'm passing instruments out, I'll say, Jonathan, hand this bell to Max, so before he even plays the bell, he is already actively passing it. And then Max has the idea, oh, I better give it back. So that becomes what happens immediately. And then a little bit later, trade with your partner. And I like to use the word trade with a partner and pass when we're going to pass it around a circle. The passing skills, though, are learned in the trading activities. For example, the literal skill of being able to grab and release an instrument. That doesn't seem like a big deal, but it really can be for some of the kids. And then patience, knowing that you're going to have a turn in about 10 seconds. And then being able to say goodbye to the instrument. We practice that every time we put an instrument away. So it's okay to be like, all right, my turn is done with this castanet. I can hand it to you, and I know I'm going to get another turn soon. And then sometimes when we're passing around a circle, it might require me physically tapping, now you give it to him, now you give it to her. And then it's just a matter of balancing how much repetition you want with how their attention spans are. I talked about how important it is to use those graphics, and let me just tell you, it will change everything when you don't have to repeat the words that you're saying. You can just point to a picture so you can keep saying something else. So here are 3 graphics that I use the most often. I have to give it to my partner and my partner has to receive it, or if I want them facing each other, I'm going to use this one. And then this little arrow helps them know I'm going to go from this to that. So I have 2 videos here that I'm going to show you, and the first one is the beginning of the school year. So this is how they were passing in early October.
Estamos tomando turnos tocando los güiros como el sonido de las saltamontes. Tomando turnos. Ya turnas con tu pareja, dile tenga. Ya es tu turno. Gracias. Compartiendo entre sí. Gracias. Tomando turnos y a turnas. Eso mejor. Pásalo a Victoria, por favor.
And this second one is from April, like we're getting towards the end of the school year, and it's a totally different kind of passing, but you'll see how it goes. Pass, 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 pass. I pass the rope from me to you. You pass the rope, and this is what we do. Keep passing, pass, 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 pass. I pass the rope from me to you. You pass the rope, and this is what we do. Stop! Bridges down. Hands up. Oh, who's got it?
Kayla, everybody say Kayla, run around, run around, run around, run around, run around, and stop. This is what she had. She had the special clip. All right, we're going to put our bridges up, and we're going to pass again. Bridges are our knees. Knees up, pass, 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 pass. I pass the rope from me to you, to you. You pass the rope from me to you, to you. I pass the rope from me to you, to you. You pass the rope, and this is what we do. Freeze. Bridges down. Mila, run around, run around, run around, run around.
So here is the partnering student script that I use when they are choosing their own partner. Generally, I'm going to give them a partner towards the beginning of the year until they're good at that. And then maybe around winter break, we'll give them the opportunities to choose a partner. They already know each other better, and I know them well enough to know which kids need the most support. So the concept is to find, request, and get consent. The first step is I tell them to look for someone who doesn't have a partner yet, who is standing or sitting alone. And then the kid number one is going to say, "Will you be my partner?" And they echo, "Will you be my partner?" And then kid two says, "Yes, I'd be delighted." And at first, that's all we do. A little bit later, I might add the option of them saying, "Aw, I already have a partner. Maybe next time, friend." Or in some classes, I'll allow them to say, "No, I'm worried that won't go well." And that's an important phrase because if you don't give them the words to say, they're going to say, "No, I can't be your partner. You're gross." And they don't mean to hurt someone's feelings. They just don't have the right words yet. So give them the words. And then they face each other or hold hands or collect materials or whatever your instruction is going to be for their partnering. And I rehearse this in class before we do partners as a kind of an echo me. And then I model it with the person that I think is the least likely to be chosen. So if they're really shy or if they're slow to react or if they are a kid who has been unfortunately scorned, I will choose them and I will model that for them so that they have the idea that that kid is a great kid to choose because they had a great response. Let's talk a little bit about circle games. Making a circle is so ridiculously hard with 3-year-olds, but they still love circle games. 3-year-olds will not be successful in cooperative endeavors until they have practiced the skill individually. They need to know how to do the physical skill of whatever your game is before you can do it as a group. As in, they need to be good at walking before they can walk in a circle. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's so true. The circle making skills that I choose to do. The first one is that to make a circle, what you need to do is to have a partner. They're good at partners. And then that partner can add another partner, as you see in this picture here. I was partners with this kiddo, and then this kiddo wanted to join. So we added him to our partnership, and suddenly we had a circle. And then you have 3 to 5 people, and then you can stretch the circle out and see who else can fit in there. I like to tell them that the floor is lava to keep them from collapsing into the center of the circle because that happens all the time, even with the bigger kids. And then another thing is that a lot of the teachers will have them sit at carpet time on the perimeter of the carpet around the outside. And they might have tape there, or they might have little markings that they always tell the kids to sit on, and it is a circle. So if that is a classroom routine already, then it's pretty simple to reincorporate that in your own classroom. And then the hardest thing to do is to make a circle by having them follow you in a line. 3-year-olds aren't that great at lines, and that's okay. So I want to show you this video, and it starts with our very first ever circle making activity.
San Miguelito de Tololotlán, dame la mano, yo quiero rodar. San Miguelito de Tololotlán, dale más, dale, se desplomarán. Oh, de pie. Vamos a hacerlo otra vez. Grab hands and go again. Ready? Here we go. Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies. Big smile, big frown. We all fall down. Cows are in the meadow, eating buttercups. Thunder, lightning. We all jump. Oh! Again or all done? Again. Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies. Big smile, big frown, we all fall down. Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies. Right, white bread, sweet bread, squat. Guess what they told me? Tra-la-la-la-la. Kate is our bestie. Kate, who do you choose in 5, 4, 3? Which one? Go to Lily. Go up to Lily. Get close to her. Say, Lily, you can hug him, bump him, or just nod your head. Which one? Yo, you wanted a fist bump? Super cool. All right, Lily in the middle. Let's walk around again. Ready, get set, and here we go. Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies. White bread, sweet bread, squat. Guess what they told me? Lily is our bestie. You can. Who are you gonna pick? Which one? Atlas. You can hug her, bump her, or just nod your head.
Atlas already had a turn.
That's true. Atlas did have a turn. Oh, we're nodding our head. We'll fix it. Don't worry.
It's not always perfect, but man, is it fun! So let's synthesize. The biggest takeaways that I want you to have are these 4 things. First, keep their developmental needs at the forefront. Focus on their social, emotional, and executive functioning skills. Second, utilize consistent routines and procedures and make them purposeful. Third, expect complications. Make contingency plans part of your regular plan. And last, focus on joyful experiences and exploration in music. Hooray! You're ready. I believe in you. You are going to do wonderful things with these 3-year-olds. I hope that this video has given you some new ideas and some peace of mind about your approach in early childhood. If you'd like, you can scan this for a PDF of the slides that I went through in this video. Please do follow me on social media at DoReMiDivnick or email me. Thanks for watching!